Men and Warriors, it's Kate and welcome back to my channel where you can expect weekly videos from me all about menopause, perimenopause. In fact, today I'm actually talking about 10 things you really ought to be aware of through the menopause, and I hope they're going to be helpful to you. Make sure that you click the subscribe button if you haven't done already so you don't miss a future episode. And if you found this helpful, please remember to give it a thumbs up. I'll try and remind you at the end as well. So firstly, what is perimenopause? Perimenopause is the run-up to your menopause. Your menopause is just one day. It denotes the day that marks 12 months since you last had a period, and thereafter you're postmenopausal. So the perimenopause is when your hormones are starting to move around a bit. They're becoming a little bit more erratic, and you can notice very subtle changes in yourself, your sort of physiology, your mental health, and you can also start to notice really, really drastic changes. Number two, your menopause symptoms can start pretty much whenever. The average age is between 48 and 52, but that means nothing really. I speak to people all the time. I was postmenopausal by the time I think I was 42. And I remember even going to the doctor's surgery. I can't remember what for, but they told, I was like 38 at the time. And the nurse said, she goes, oh, you can't be perimenopausal. You're too young. So I was actually nearly through it by that stage. So there is no one size fits all approach. I've even heard of a girl who was perimenopausal or started to be perimenopausal at the age of 13. And of course, if you have a hysterectomy, you are bang into menopause. That's it, done. No more periods, and you will have full blown symptoms. You will probably be recommended HRT. I know women who've done it without and with. If they've done it without, they've made sure that they are following a really healthy lifestyle before they have that hysterectomy, as much as they're able to, because obviously the hysterectomy is being done for a reason. If you're losing a lot of blood, you might be anemic, you may not have the energy, but there are still a lot of things that you can do. You can learn a lot about the right kind of nutrition. You can still do exercise. It just needs to be of a different type of exercise so that you're still gaining strength, but in a very modified way. Number three, that you can still get perimenopausal symptoms even though your periods might be completely regular. And that can be really confusing because you're on your monthly cycle, but you're just noticing a few things are changing. You might actually start to think, am I getting early Alzheimer's? I thought that. You might be getting more achy joints. You might be having hot flushes all of a sudden. Night sweats were the ones for me. I wish I'd known then what I know now, because my night sweats were horrendous. And as far as the nurse was concerned, I was not perimenopausal. I remember I've just remembered this. I had this really sore inside of my mouth. And I went for some, I don't know, skin tests or whatever, swabs. And my doctor or nurse, I can't remember who it was, said, I have never seen such a healthy looking tongue. That was it. There was nothing wrong. Nothing came back. And that could well have been perimenopausal, because I know a lot of women. Have you had the burning mouth? Literally, it was just like, it was so sensitive inside my, down the sides of my gums, the soft tissue inside my mouth. It was just sensitive. And even if I would, certain foods would make it even more sensitive. It was the bizarrest thing, and I've not had that for years. That must have been a perimenopausal symptom as well. You might be getting weight gain that you can't explain. That is likely to be down to your perimenopausal symptoms. But the good thing is that you can do a lot of things to help through the perimenopause. If you are not already following a healthy lifestyle approach, please start, because your food, your thoughts, your activity levels, they will all have a massive impact on how you navigate the menopause. If you want some support, I'll drop a link beneath this. It's a short form, fill it in, it'll give me a good idea of your goals and your struggles. And then I can get back in touch with you and just share what I think would work best for you. Number four is that your periods can become erratic. So they might be lasting for longer, they might be lighter, they might be shorter, they might be super heavy. It can be any combination, and then they might change as well. So 1 month might be very short and light, the next month might be really heavy and long, the next month you might have a long series of just dotting a bit. Yeah, it can be all sorts. So just be aware of the fact that that is also a sign that you're getting into perimenopause. Number 5 is the fact it's very hard to test for if you're in the perimenopause, because your hormones are going up and down and up and down. So, one day you might have your estrogen levels checked and they're normal or they're high, but 2 hours later they've plummeted again, or later on that day they've plummeted again. It might be that you might have the test when your levels are low, in which case that would indicate something. So, but a lot of women, the doctors tend not to do it because it's such an inconclusive test. Number 6 is that you're not actually menopausal until your periods have stopped for good. And this happened to me twice. I had 2 sessions of 11 months, and then on the 12th month I had a very heavy period. And it was just before we went off camping. I'm a single parent. I'd got my 2 children were young at the time. We've got a massive tent. We used to go away for weeks on end, so there was a lot to pack and lift really heavy stuff as well. And I think probably just this sort of stress and excitement around getting ready for our holiday probably set it off. And they both happened during my drive, very long drive down to the south of France, which was not a good moment at all. And but it happened. So I had 2 nearly opportunities to become postmenopausal. And your menopause literally is the one day since your 12-month period has gone. And then beyond that, one day you're postmenopausal. Number 7 is that you might be getting night sweats. You might be getting more cravings. You might have more symptoms running up to a period. So normally, your sort of 2 or 3 weeks are normal. And then as you're getting closer to your period, you might find some symptoms are showing up. You might find that your sort of cravings, I always used to get sweet cravings before a period. They normally last maybe 7 days, and now they might be sort of 10, 13 days before your period. You're getting more cravings. You might be getting more night sweats. Night sweats for me, like I mentioned, were just horrendous. That was one of the worst things. If you're on the pill, this is number 8, it can be difficult to know if you're perimenopausal, particularly if you're on the Mirena coil or you have a progesterone only pill, because you're getting regular periods, but you're also having hormones put into your body. It can also make particularly with the progesterone only pill, it might be that as your estrogen levels are falling, it can make your symptoms even more severe, because then you've got even more, relatively speaking, you've got more progesterone in your body. Number 9 is that the symptoms of perimenopause tend to be worse than the symptoms beyond when you're postmenopausal. It does tend to flatten out. So perimenopause, estrogen's up and down, up and down, up and down. Postmenopause, it does tend to, certainly in my case, certainly in a lot of the cases of women I work with, we still get symptoms, but it's not as erratic as perimenopause. Plus, you also know where you're at. I think perimenopause, part of the problem with it is that you're not sure if it is perimenopause, and that can be confusing. And I think when we're not completely confident, that makes it seem worse as well. And number 10, remember that perimenopause is different for all of us. If your sisters, if your mother, if your neighbor, if they're all having a really easy trip through the perimenopause and yours is hellish, don't think there's anything wrong with you. There's not. There are different factors affecting all of us. Your other sisters may have been breastfed. You had bottle milk. They may have been delivered vaginally. You may have been delivered by C-section. That has a massive impact on your gut microbiome, by the way. And if your gut microbiome is off for all of your life, that will have a negative impact on your menopause symptoms. That's just one aspect. It's just one of those that's come into my mind. But just because that does make such a big difference. You may have had a course of antibiotics. So again, it's affected your gut health. Gut health is incredibly important on every level. But if you've got a good, healthy microbiome, I think you will get through the perimenopause and beyond more easily. So make sure you're eating lots of pre and probiotics, lots of veggies, cut out or reduce sugar and unprocessed foods. Watch the amount of alcohol that you're drinking. Track your symptoms. I know that if last night I had a chunk of a square of dark chocolate, 85% dark chocolate after my meal, immediate hot flush. I knew it was the chocolate that set it off. If I have a coffee, immediate hot flush. If I have alcohol, I'm going to get hot flushes. And then through the night, I will wake up with hot flushes. I tend not to eat sugary stuff. But I know, if I had a biscuit or somebody gave me a slice of cake, I would again have a hot flush. There is so much that we can do to control our symptoms. Lifestyle factors will have the biggest impact on how well you navigate the menopause. You may be one of the unlucky ones who does everything they need to do and they're still getting terrible symptoms. That is really unfortunate. And I hope that you get through it fairly well eventually. But for the majority of us, we're very good at focusing on what's not going right. And there's a lot that we can do, but it does take a small amount of effort, like the workouts, like, you know, when I started the system that I follow now. So before, when I was perimenopause, I started gaining weight as well as some other symptoms. But just talk about the weight gain, because that's what a lot of women say to me, you know, can you give me some help about? And that was something that I thought I ate clean. I did eat pretty clean. By making just a few tiny changes, it made the biggest difference to not having a weight problem anymore. So getting rid of the belly fat, to feeling, you know, I feel quite confident out in a bikini. And it was just a few tiny changes. So don't keep yourself stuck. Be open and willing to learn about new things that might just help you a bit more. If you're where you're at and if you're happy where you're at, brilliant, excellent. Please share what you're doing below. If you're not, if you're struggling, reach out for help, because there is a lot that I can do to help you. There's a lot of other people can do to help you. Rather than feeling stuck, do you know what? When you start to take control of your health, and if you're menopausal, perimenopause, you should, without a shadow of a doubt, you should be strength training. It's good for your gut biome, but it's also going to stop that atrophy of your muscles. It's going to help keep your bones strong. You might be getting more cellulite stuff on your skin. You might be thinking it's cellulite. It's probably not cellulite. It's highly likely to be muscle atrophy. As our estrogen levels fall, our cortisol level, one of our stress hormones, rise. Cortisol is very important for the body, but through menopause it goes up, and that has it breaks down our bones, it breaks down our muscles. So by keeping your bones and muscles strong by strength training and not too much cardio, you are going to do yourself a massive favor. So I hope that was helpful. If you've got any comments below, you know, let me know what was your worst perimenopausal symptom? And now, you know, if you're postmenopausal, do you still have symptoms? And, you know, how, compared to perimenopause and postmenopause, what would you say has been your biggest learning? That I'd be really interested, if you don't mind just spending a couple of minutes just to share it below, because I mean, I'm fascinated in it, but I think also it will help other people who might be watching this, who sort of, I know I always read the comments beneath, because I want to, you know, posts that I'm interested in, because you can learn so much from the comments as well. Incidentally, I just learned the other day, I was following something about DIY eco wash powder. I found so much information in the comments. I'm now cleaning my house completely non-toxically with just white vinegar and soda crystals, and it's even more effective than the stupid chemicals I used to use. Why have I not? I'm 52. Why did I not know about this before? Yes, sometimes we're so resistant to learning other stuff. I've seen it pop up on blogs before, and I've never really given it any credence or credibility. More fool me. Absolute more fool me. I am never going to be using chemical products in my home again, because the white vinegar and the baking soda, it's so effective. I've done my glass. Well, I always clean my windows with vinegar anyway. I've done my bathrooms. I've even polished the silver, not with vinegar. That was water and baking soda. But I'm actually going to run a little free group on it soon, because it was so helpful for me to learn the stuff that I've learned, that I want to share it with other people who are keen on going environmentally friendly. So anyhow, that's another conversation for another day. I hope you found this helpful. Again, please remember to subscribe if you haven't done already, and please give me a thumbs up if you found this helpful, and I will talk to you soon.